Welcome to Conversations with Ico and Friends, where we talk about the roofing business. Now, here's your host, the editor of Canadian Contractor Magazine, Patrick Flannery.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Ico and Friends. I'm Pat Flannery. I'm the editor of Canadian Contractor Magazine. And today we're joined by Vince Carrier from Ico. Hi, Vince.
Good day, Patrick.
Yep, good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
We're gonna have a conversation today about manufacturing, shingles, how it's made, and other things as well. Ico is been a long time manufacturer here in Canada. Vince himself is located in Canada, and we want to take a little bit of a look inside the manufacturing process and discuss how it really relates to you as the contractor when you're trying to choose a quality product. So Vince, why don't you start us off by telling us a bit about yourself and what you do with Ico?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, first off. So, Special Projects Manager for Canada. Been with Ico now for just over 12 years in various different roles. But really what that entails is I work with guys within new product development and bringing that and launching it into Canada, as well as the US. I work with the Roof Pro loyalty team as well, Nicole Gray. So we've had a hosted call with her as well. Two-step distribution, and a big part of my role is actually promotion of Ico and CRC materials within the design community. So architects, engineers, consultants. So, but prior to that, I was in sales management for a period of 8 years with Ico here in Western Canada. And prior to that, I did 3 years as a territory sales representative for Ico. So happy to be here.
Yeah, great. You're coming to us from where?
Calgary, Alberta.
Beautiful Calgary. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, well, tell me a bit about exactly what Ico is doing in Canada as far as manufacturing, Vince. And give us the whole sort of background of where the manufacturing started and sort of how that's evolved over time.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you could bear with me, there's a lot of history to share, right? So
yeah.
1951, actually, it all started right here in Calgary, Alberta. And our founder, Isidore Kashitsky, started the organization here in Calgary. So, since then, he's opened up as an organization. We have opened up so many plants that are global. So we've got global North America, and then when you're shrinking it back down, it's Canada, and we're such a large part of Canada in what we manufacture is shingles, commercial roofing products. We manufacture vertical and flat insulation board products here in Canada. And then there's the vertical integration side of our business, where we manufacture a lot of the raw ingredients that go into those finished good products. And as well, we do a lot of that right here in Canada. So yeah, lots to share.
Yeah, that's awesome. What in your view, Vince, is sort of unique about Ico's approach? How are you guys maybe different than other companies out there that are manufacturing building products?
Yeah, so a lot of things that are different in my own opinion. First of all, Canadian family-owned and operated business, right? Since 1951, nothing's changed with that respect. But we operate by a set of core values that our owner brought to the table right from the get-go. And it's not just about how we operate as a business, but it's how we operate through our personal lives as well. And so, some of those things, sharing knowledge, which you have to do when you're in business for almost 70 years to be successful. Operating with integrity, long-term is another one. Performance, humility, and agility. All of things that, if we don't operate with in our day-to-day lives as well as our business, we're sacrificing something. Now, a large part of that, if we're talking about long-term, is vertical integration. And what that means is that we bring to the table raw ingredient side of the business to manufacture our finished goods. And so when you manufacture and have a hand in manufacturing of your own raw materials that go into those finished goods, you're controlling the quality from A to Z, right? And so that's a huge aspect. But more so when we're talking about nowadays with this global pandemic that's going on, you're talking about controlling the supply of those raw ingredients. So we're not left in a situation as a manufacturer where we're reliant on a third-party supplier of those raw ingredients. And so what we're seeing nowadays with this pandemic is we're seeing shipping delays. We're seeing plants being mothballed or closed down for, either permanent or short periods of time, and that disrupts that supply channel. So with that vertical integration, that is unique to ICO for a large part of what we do. And so that allows us to maintain and keep growing in these challenging times.
And that goes right down to the very land you're based on, right? I mean, you guys have local resources for granule and other mineral products, right? You've got quarries for that stuff right there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you've done your homework, which is excellent. So here in Canada, within Ashcroft, BC, and in Madoc, Ontario, we have 2 mines where we actually blow up the rock and you grind it down to the specified sizes for manufacturing of your granule surfacing for shingles and for commercial raw product. You grind it down even further and you get into a sand or a headlap fine or things like that, fine dusts that are also used in the manufacturing process. So you've got, headlap fines from our shingles is manufactured in those situations, as well as the byproducts, what we call mineral stabilizers. And those are added to the asphalt to control the viscosity and flow points of that asphalt in manufacturing process. So, yeah, those 2 plants are here in Canada as well.
Great. And so you're taking it right from the ground all the way to basically packaged, shipped product, right?
And yeah, speaking of packaging, in Barrie, Ontario, we have a plant where we manufacture all our own plastic wrappers. So you're absolutely right. So from step A to B, right from basically taking it from the ground with respect to the granules all the way to the wrapper itself and getting it, to the shipping points. So
and obviously the oil comes out of the ground pretty much here in Canada too. So, well, of course, you never know where you're getting the oil from, but yeah, exactly. Good. Well, I understand you have a video, and there's nothing like a good how it's made video to get a real sense of how this is done and everything that goes into it. So why don't you do a screen share there, and we'll have a little look. I think it's Bob Vila, right?
Yeah, there's one of the videos. So let's talk about that. There's one of the videos that was filmed in our Wilmington, Delaware plant back in I think it was the early 90s. Mm-hmm. So that's going to show you a little bit of everything in an older facility, in an older plant where we're dealing still with organic products, right? So we'll talk a little bit about that during the video. And then the new video, which features some of our newer facilities. And so, on that note, with respect to vertical integration, is you're talking about innovation and reinvestment. Okay. And again, that's all part of that long-term and performance plan in our core values that we talk on so much. So, when you're talking about building of new facilities, the new facility right here in Calgary, for instance, okay, the new facility started operation in 2012, whereas the original facility manufacturing shingles here in Calgary was in 1954. Prior to that, we were doing building paper. But ICO, as a roofing manufacturer, has invested more in the roofing industry, in our own infrastructure, than all other manufacturers of roofing products combined, right? So that's a huge investment, as you can imagine, especially in times like this where we're dealing with a global pandemic. But so on that note, to preface, we are going to see an older plant, and then we're going to see a newer plant, and we'll pause and stop and talk about some of those things as the video progresses.
Awesome.
So let's do a little screen share here.
Yeah. Make sure everything works. Yeah.
We're at the ICO Roofing Shingle Factory in Wilmington, Delaware, just a couple of hundred yards from the Delaware River. In the factory behind me, they manufacture enough shingles to roof about 100,000 average-sized U.S. homes. Let's get together with Henry Fear, the plant manager, and take a little tour. Hi, Henry. How you doing?
How you doing, Bob?
Now, what is this stuff?
This is a crushed stone with a ceramic colored paint on top of it.
And how are these used in making shingles?
These are the roofing granules that go on top of the shingle, give you the color, give the production to the asphalt.
Okay, so this is what gives you the color on the roof and what protects the asphalt.
That's right.
Where's it come from?
This particular load came from Belmead, New Jersey.
Belmead, New Jersey. How much of it do you use in an average day?
Average day about 400 tons.
400 tons of
Yeah.
it. That's a lot. And you just drop it into these storage holes underground or what?
No, it goes down on a conveyor belt over to an elevator, then up and drops into the tanks.
Okay. Henry, what are the other basic raw materials in making roofing shingles?
Basically, asphalt, fiberglass, and organic felt.
Okay. Can we take a look at the process?
Sure, inside.
So what's this over here, Henry?
This organic felt, Bob.
Just paper.
Just paper and wood chip.
Giant spools of it. What do they weigh?
About a ton and a half, 2 tons each.
There's nothing.
So that's the organic material that we used to use as a carrier product to saturate the asphalt, coat it, and get it to the rooftop. Now, interestingly enough, at one point, Calgary, the ICO facility, was the city's largest recycler. We used to manufacture our own felt paper and organic product to manufacture our shingles. So.
He said 400 tons. Is that would that be similar today? I mean, this video is now a little bit old. Are you still going through that much, or probably way more, right?
Yeah, it's significantly more. And again, when you're talking about shingle plants, there's 2 different types of plants, and you're going to see in this video with this Wilmington, Delaware plant, this is what's called a 2-wide laminator or a 4-wide strip machine. So 4-wide strip being 3-tab shingles, you've seen those before.
Yeah.
Okay. That would be 4 bundles or 4 shingles of 3-tab coming off the end of the line. The way laminated shingles are manufactured is you're basically taking 2 shingles and laminating them together, right? So 4-wide 3-tab can only manufacture 2-wide laminate. But nowadays, all the new facilities that are being greenfielded or retrofitted, they're all 4-wide laminators. So you get twice as much production with the same manpower, right? So that much more efficient and effective. So you'll see the 4-wide in the new plant video that we're going to show you. Cool. So yeah, significantly more raw material being used for sure.
Holding them in place now.
That's right.
Get away from those. And then what are these big white rolls over here?
This fiberglass mat, Bob. It's about 70% of our production. The other 30 being in the felt.
So all shingles are made either on a organic paper felt like this, or on a fiberglass mat like this.
That's correct.
And you just said you're doing 70% of this. What's the logic?
Well, there's a market for both of them.
Yeah.
And the organic shingle is a much firmer shingle, better wind resistant. That takes the north and cooler and the coastline, and the fiberglass shingle is the 70% is the warmer southern climate.
So if you're in a cold and windy climate, you might be better off having organic shingles on there.
That's correct.
And
so those are interesting comments and percentages that Mr. Fair was giving there. So nowadays, since 2008, ICO hasn't manufactured anything that is organic, right? So especially on the shingle side of things. We continue to saturate felt product that we purchased on the marketplace and continue to manufacture felt building papers, but nothing shingle related since 2008. So when he talks about, the 70-30 split there, it's 100% fiberglass manufacturing nowadays.
And there's been improvements in the fiberglass technology that you can make it as stiff, like he was mentioning. The organic was stiffer for higher wind resistance.
Yeah, so there's a different process, because when you're talking about organic materials, you're talking about full saturation of that material with asphalt. And then once it's saturated, you would top coat it and back coat it with asphalt. Okay. With fiberglass material, it's not a saturant. So it doesn't absorb material. So you're not talking about saturating. So you're top coating and back coating that fiberglass material. So there's less asphalt in the fiberglass material than what there is in the organic. Therefore, it's not as heavy.
But obviously you guys are selling shingles for high wind applications, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Right. So how's that achieved with the fiberglass when it didn't used to happen that way?
Yeah, so completely different performances can be found with the fiberglass. So there's advantages both ways. The one advantage with organics was that it had more asphalt in it. The downfall was aesthetically, it wasn't very pleasing when it aged because it would curl, claw, that sort of thing. And it aged, it showed those aging properties much quicker. With fiberglass, everything lays flat from day one. It looks new until its end of life cycle. Which generally speaking lasts longer than organics. And then when you're talking about performance products, the fiberglass being a synthetic man-made material is going to last that much longer and perform that much better when it's subjected to different things. So one of the ways that we can enhance its performance is through the asphalt itself. So we might be putting polymer additives into the asphalt so that you're achieving impact resistance for hail areas. We also have products where we add a reinforced nailing area. We call it Armor Zone technology, but it's really a reinforced nailing area. And that helps with those performance characteristics such as wind. Right. So,
Okay, cool.
all right, let's carry on.
Right now you're making fiberglass match-based shingles. Yeah. And this is where the process begins.
Right, these are where the rolls are unrolled into the manufacturing line. This splicing table here is where they stop the one roll to put the other new roll on.
When you run out of one. But why do you have all the material going up and down around these rollers?
Well, Bob, you never want the manufacturing line to stop. So we accumulate enough in here that when we put the new roll on, that we can stop that, splice it on, and the machine doesn't ever know it.
So what they're doing there in that plant is actually heating up a glue that will laminate those two fiberglass sheets together. Now that is the exact process that used to be duplicated in all of our facilities, but nowadays with the automation of equipment and the safety factors, all of that is done through automation now. So
you don't have a person actually ironing it.
no, that's a bit passé. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Fully automated, and where you saw two people there working in that room, now there's actually only one person working. So automation does help from an efficiency standpoint, for sure.
All right, Bob, at this point, the fiberglass mat, which gives our shingle the Class A fire rating, starts the process of applying the top and bottom coating.
Okay.
Here at the coater, the filled coating comes out on the top of the sheet. The excess goes into the pan. It's picked up by this inking roll, and the excess is scraped off by this scraper.
How hot is that asphalt?
About 490 degrees. And at this point, we try to put that fiberglass mat right in the middle of the shingle.
So that you've got a coating on both sides.
Yes, sir.
What's happening here?
You'll notice three different colors up there. We have a 3-drop blend. The granules are dropped out through these serrated rolls by a computer to apply the granules to the top of the sheet in the pattern color that we want.
Okay. And right now we're making gray shingles.
Right now, we would maybe making a blue gray shingle.
Yeah.
And around here, Bob, this is a silicone treated tape that is put on the back of the sheet directly in line with the self-seal strip that goes on the top.
What for?
This keeps the bundles from becoming a solid block, and only the self-seal stick them
So
together.
when you cut it into shingles and you stack them, they won't stick together.
That's correct.
Gotcha. Looks kind of dangerous in there, Henry.
This here is the InDev system. It's a radioactive scanning arm for a computer to control the squeeze rolls of the coater to give us consistent quality time after time after time.
So the thickness is always uniform.
Exactly.
Right. And then you're starting to cool it with water here?
That's right, Bob. This starts the cooling section, and as we start that, we press the granules into the asphalt to the proper depth to make sure they adhere to the sheet.
Okay, so it's controlled along every step.
Yes, sir. Right here, we're at about 200 degrees, and we'll start cooling it down till we get down to the cutter where we need it to be about
look at the cutter?
All right.
So when do they start looking like shingles?
Cut them down here at the other end.
What's going on here?
This is where the shingles are cut to all the dimensions, Bob. Underneath that amber roll is a cutting head that is another roll that has a bunch of knives locked into it.
So that all the different cuts are...
So at this point here, Pat, you can see that we're taking that sheet and we're cutting it into 4 separate shingles, right?
Right.
And each one of those shingles is what we manufacture as a 3-tab shingle. So in a 4-wide laminator situation, what would be coming off the end of the line is 4, let's say, Cambridge shingles or 4 laminate shingles. And in this situation, you'd see 4 3-tab shingles coming off the end of the line at once.
Okay. Hey, stupid question.
None.
Why not just put the granule in the asphalt and put it all on there together?
Yeah, no, not a stupid question at all. You may have heard earlier with Bob Vila talking about the granules themselves. So everybody thinks the primary purpose of the granule is, well, it's what gives it that aesthetic appeal for homeowners, right? Different colors, different shades, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In fact, that is the secondary purpose of those products. That's why we paint them. But the primary purpose is to actually protect the asphalt from UV degradation, right? So
yeah.
you know, when you see, and everybody can relate to this, is when you're actually driving on fresh blacktop, right? It's
soft.
the most, yeah, it's the most satisfying feeling there is fresh blacktop. But
Yeah.
within a year, it starts to gray, and then 2-3 years, it's really grayed. That's the actual UV degrading the asphalt at the surface level. So the granule's primary purpose is to protect the asphalt in those shingles from degrading from the UV.
There you go.
So yeah,
We learned something. That's the point, right?
every day.
Or at least I learned something.
are being made to the roll goods, and out of each section of roll goods you're making 3 shingles?
We're making 4 shingles.
4 shingles. Wow.
Then they come down here and they go into individual stackers. And they're stacked down here in 26 bundles, 26 shingles per bundle, and a 998 configuration. Drop down out the timing conveyor to the high lugs, over to the wrapping conveyor, and onto the pallet.
But at this point, we got the finished
We're
product.
finished.
All right, Henry, so this is the end of the line, kind of.
This is the wrapping machine. This
Yeah.
will wrap 30 bundles per minute. Puts asphalt on the top seal, folds it over. Over in the far gluing conveyor, it puts glue on the end flap. Shoes fold them over. Then the product's finished. It goes
Yeah.
to the palletizer, from there to the warehouse.
It's a great machine. I've carried plenty of them on my shoulder up the ladder. I know they don't tear apart.
So obviously we don't use paper wrappers anymore.
Yeah.
For a lot of obvious reasons, but we've gone to the plastic wrappers now, and again, we do manufacture those in-house as well, right there in Barrie, Ontario. So very cool thing you're actually witnessing and being a part of at this point, Patrick, is, you know, seeing an old facility and then being able to actually go through a new facility.
Yeah.
And we had such a unique experience in Calgary when we were building the new facility right beside the old facility. So there was a period of about 3 months where we were actually running both machines at the same time. So we would take contractors, builders, any of our customer base, distributors, through the old facility, right? And then take them through the new facility immediately after. And, you know, it's just amazing to see their eyes light up, you know, with the vast differences that you see, not just in efficiencies, but cleanliness of the plant for one, right? So
Yeah, I bet.
so yeah,
Now, would this plant would typically run flat out 3 shifts?
yeah, totally dependent on the marketplace, the demand in that area. And so, to give you a bit of an example, right now with our Calgary facility here, we had a massive hailstorm here this past year in Calgary. Obviously, demand just all of a sudden jumps through the roof.
Yeah.
So, part of one of our core values being agility is the fact that we can actually amp up our raw material side of things, again, controlling that supply, bring in more raw materials so that we can amp up at the finished goods at the manufacturing level. So we're actually running 3 shifts right now here in Calgary, whereas prior to that, we were running with 2. And that's how things started at that facility back in 2012. So, we're able to make those quick decisions, being agile, and really turn on a dime so that we can capture more market share where possible. So
what kind of production are we talking about? What does ICO put out in terms of shingles in a year, in a day? I don't know.
Yeah. And you heard a number being spoken there by the plant manager there when he's talking about, running 30, the packaging was able to package 30 bundles, I believe it was, in a minute.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, with our new Calgary facility and these new pickups in efficiency and whatnot, we can actually run a pallet a minute.
Wow.
Right?
An entire pallet, yeah.
Yeah, an entire pallet. So that's 56 bundles to a minute.
Yeah.
So, the production capabilities there are vast, and they're a lot bigger. Whereas we used to see a lot of plants in Canada shipping and manufacturing just regionally. Now we can expand that shipping territory because of the fact that, we're manufacturing so many more shingles. So, out of the Calgary facility, for instance, we're supplying BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, parts of Northwestern Ontario out of that plant. And then, we even ship into some areas of the Midwestern US as well. So, and that's out of one facility of many.
Okay, blow us away with the new plant. I think you've got pictures, right?
We actually have a 2.5-minute video. So
I love it. I love it.
All right, here we go.
A lot has changed since ICO first opened its doors in 1951. From a single building paper plant, ICO has grown into one of the world's largest manufacturers and exporters of residential roofing products. Today, our ever-expanding product line features a broad selection of styles and colors designed to meet changing homeowner preferences and provide contractors with high-quality products that are designed to stand the test of time. But it's what hasn't changed that makes ICO one of the most respected names in the industry.
So, sorry, I'm just going to back up the video here to show you this section here.
Yeah.
So these tanks are actually oxidizing tanks and storage tanks as well. So, off in the far one side, you'll actually have mineral stabilizers that are being stored, heated up, and then brought into the manufacturing process so that we can maintain the temperature at the asphalt level. And then you've got something called oxidizers, okay? And the oxidizers are what's actually changing the viscosity by blowing O2 into the asphalt. You're changing its tackiness and viscosity prior to it entering the facility. So
okay, so it definitely comes in thicker, heavier, something than what you want, and that's how you get it. That's how you get it to flow.
Yeah, at each one of the manufacturing facilities, you need to be able to change it because you can't necessarily control the raw ingredient coming in all the time, right? And specifically about asphalt. So you have to be able to change some of its molecular structure and change the viscosity of it so that it's usable for our industry in roofing.
And then obviously when it cools, it solidifies back to what more or less what it was, or probably much harder, right?
Yeah, so when asphalt actually cools, it actually takes on glass-like properties. So in the commercial side of things, mopping, for instance, they actually buy kegs or big blocks of raw asphalt that are completely cooled. And what traditionally they've done is just dropped it on the ground, let it break, pick up some small chunks and throw it in the into the furnace that they use to heat it up. So, yeah.
Neat.
For more than 60 years, ICO's family-owned business has embodied the values and vision of our founder to be a consistent and reliable source of the highest quality roofing products. For more than 3 generations, our owners have worked hard to be the industry's innovation leader when it comes to new products and the manufacturing processes used to make those products. ICO.
So that computer you just saw is part of a control room. And part of what it's controlling is this blender oscillator, and it's doing so in every single one of our shingle manufacturing facilities. So something different, again, when we talk about, ICO being different, that we did as a manufacturing facility is we created alignment across all our facilities so that we were manufacturing to the same color specifications. We do that by using the same ingredients from the same raw material manufacturing, being our own. We do that through this blender technology that we have, and having that same technology in each one of our facilities. So, that is something different. We also changed the cut and size as well as the blends of all of our products. So what that does for us is we can actually take product from Calgary, product from Sumas, Washington, send them into the same marketplace, right? And have them as a distributor not have something called a do not mix scenario. So our dual black in Calgary is the same as our dual black in Sumas. It's the same as our dual black in Hawkesbury. It's the same as our dual black in Toronto. Okay, so that is unique to ICO. There's none other manufacturer that does that.
Huh. That's a big advantage.
Absolutely.
Now this equipment, where does that come from? Is this all custom build, or is there some big manufacturer out there in the world that's making shingle making equipment?
Yeah, no, excellent question. So a lot of the manufacturing stuff that is in ICO plants is manufactured, fabricated, and designed by ICO people. In fact, both owners, Saul and Henry Koshitsky, are engineers by education. So they've designed a fair amount of this equipment, but a large amount of it for the new facilities like Calgary, for instance, there's probably 70% of it or so that is actually manufactured from a manufacturer fabricator. Yes.
That's I expected it must be the case, because it would be that would be a custom machinery job for the most part, to my mind, because it's not like there's a new shingle plant just popping up every 5 minutes all over the world. So
well, they're fairly large investments, right?
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say that's
you just building the one building itself would be in the ballpark of 120, $125 million, right?
right. Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah, it's not it's not something just every guy on the street corner is doing. That's for sure.
No, absolutely not. So.
ICO's founder also believed the highest quality roofing products are made using the best processes and the highest quality raw materials. This is why being a vertically integrated company is so important to ICO and you. Vertical integration is about gaining control of the raw material supply and maintaining that control throughout the entire manufacturing process. Being vertically integrated means ICO is never at the mercy of their suppliers and is better able to ensure that only the best raw materials are used to make their products. Proof of ICO's unmatched quality is the internal measures used to verify all products meet ICO's gold standard.
So that gold standard is what we were just talking about. So that the cut, the size, the blending technology, we have one gold standard that we meet, and that gold standard is sent out to each one of our facilities so that they can manufacture to that specification. So this is only one part of that process that you're seeing.
Okay, so it's a quality control concept that you guys have developed. Yeah,
absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
Good.
Being gold standard verified means that all of ICO's products are manufactured to meet the meticulous manufacturing specifications established by ICO's quality assurance team. By meeting this standard, we support ICO's unprecedented ability to mix and match shingles of like style and colors that are manufactured in any one of ICO's North American manufacturing plants. While other roofing manufacturers impose their plant's limitations with do not mix stickers, due to ICO's gold standard verification process and ICO's high degree of vertical integration, shingles from various ICO manufacturing plants have a superior ability to be mixed and matched. commitment to innovation, an unwavering belief in North American pride and workmanship, and an unsurpassed gold standard quality. Some things never change. At ICO, we believe some things never should.
So you could see, I mean, a massive difference in, you know, one facility to the next. And that's part of the sharing knowledge. You know, when you're in business almost 7 decades, you know, that knowledge being passed down helps you continue to improve over time.
Yeah, and it gives you that ability to go out and, like we just talked about, like literally design your own machinery, because you know, that's not something that's easy to do. It's not something that's easy to get right, for anybody who's in manufacturing. I know that for sure. So that's hey, that's fascinating stuff, Vince. You guys have obviously made a massive investment there, and you know, really committed to some nice practices that, you know, we don't often appreciate how important it is when a supplier, when a manufacturer keeps that consistency across the board, in all the different areas that they serve and all the different product lines that they make. You know, it's one of those things that if you have to think about it, it means there's a problem, right? And you know, that the goal you guys are hitting there is, you know, hopefully that you never have to think about it. Like with that do not mix business, I mean, that's got to be a huge deal, you know, for everybody out there. That's very nice to not have to worry about that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it only matters when it matters. Okay, and what I mean by that is, if one marketplace has been continually supplied by one manufacturing facility for a period of time, that period of time, it doesn't matter. But should there be a natural disaster like what, you know, has been happening with this storm activity in the East Coast, it was several years back where one of our manufacturing competitors, their entire plant was taken out on the New Jersey coast, right? So they lost manufacturing out of that plant completely. So they had to start servicing the marketplace that plant serviced out of different facilities. That creates a do not mix scenario because of the fact that they're bringing in raw materials from different suppliers. They're manufacturing to different color specifications, right? So, you know, it creates a real hassle from a distributor side of things when you've got the same manufacturer, but you've got 3 different blacks that you can't mix on the same roof. So, and that's what I mean. It only matters when it matters.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you guys don't just do shingle. There's also insulating board. Why don't you tell me a bit about what your approach is there, and how you guys make that?
Yeah, we've got 2 different facilities here in Canada as well. One just south of us here in High River, Alberta, that manufactures vertical horizontal insulation board. It's a product called polyisocyanurate, which polyiso is for short, but it's growing in the industry. And what I mean by that is, on the residential side of things, the R value of that product is R6 per inch. And why does that matter? Is because it's very different from the other products that are out there, which you see as EPS and XPS, okay, extruded or expanded polystyrenes. Those products, the highest R value you can achieve is R5 per inch. Right now, it might not sound like a lot, but it's a significant difference, especially when you're talking about, you know, a retrofit project or new construction. Even, you know, you've got to change all your windowsill sizes and everything. So it's a significant savings, right? So what's different about that is, for ICO, we're one of the only manufacturers that has a breathable product for that vertical insulation board. And a huge aspect that's being discussed and talked about these days is moisture, vapor, and creation of black mold, right? We see it on all these HGTV shows that we watch, is everything is a discovery of black mold. So, you know, vapor barriers are being talked about widely right now. So we manufacture a product called ICO Enter Air that up to 2 inches is vapor permeable. So, so much so, if you tape it with it's called Aqua Barrier Vapor Permeable tapes. If you tape it with that at all the seams, you don't have to use a building wrap any longer. So it'll serve that purpose as well.
Nice.
So, absolutely.
Yeah, that's innovative stuff. What's going on with materials these days is really astonishing. I mean, like you say, it's the vapor penetrates, the water doesn't. I mean, how do you even do that?
Right. Right.
it's
It's
it's good.
it's a game changer for sure.
Yeah, great stuff. So bringing it back to the people watching this, the contractors in Canada, you're out there sourcing product, deciding who you're going to work with for your roofing products. What kind of questions? I mean, obviously we want them to go use ICO, but what kind of questions should they bear in mind? What should they be looking for when they're thinking about really the product itself and how it's made and how it can be best for them?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of different ways you can answer that, but I think more than anything, the contractors have to be comfortable with who they're partnered with.
Mm-hmm.
And so with ICO, something that is unique is the amount of territory sales reps that we have on the ground in Canada is unmatched by any other competitor, right? So there's an opportunity there for them to have a relationship directly with the manufacturer so that there's knowledge sharing and passing of that information on.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I find a lot of contractors are not aware of is when they're being contacted by homeowners, quite often the homeowners are very savvy. They've done some homework online. They see and they learn things. But if they already knew everything, they wouldn't be getting in touch with a contractor, right? Apart from just here's the product I want, put it on my home. What a lot of contractors, in my mind, need to realize is that they've been called in as the resident expert in their field.
Right.
The homeowner needs more information. They want more information. And if as a contractor, you can partner with, Canada's largest manufacturer of asphalt shingles, to have that knowledge and it be a part of that process, pass that information on to the homeowner, it's a huge step forward in the sales process. Apart from that, that relationship, we can both learn from each other, right? A lot of the innovations that we have in our product lines themselves don't just come from in-house. They come from feedback from the contractors themselves. So, and we've got many different examples that we can talk on. Hip and Ridge Plus, right? It's a pre-cut cap product that we manufacture where all we used to do is take a strip of shingle and perforate it. And then, of course, it would go to the job site and you can break that perforation, but then you still have to cut what a lot of contractors call the dog's ears, right? You're cutting off corners so that it is aesthetic on the roof. It was great. It was wonderful. The contractor said, yeah, no, this is great, but it'd be even better if you could do this. So it's like, wow, okay, you know what? That's a great thought. Take that back to R&D, manufacture the cutter, and all of a sudden we manufacture a product called Hip and Ridge Plus, where it's not just perforated, but the ears are already cut for the contractors. So all they have to do is break the product, put it in place.
Yeah, and that's a great point, and that's what ties all this together. We've seen today how ICO is absolutely integrated right from the ground all the way to the end product, and now all the way to the person that you're dealing with and that you're talking to. So there's none of this problem in the chain of responsibility where you reach a point where, well, that's not us, and we can't help you. You know what I mean? And so that's I think that's probably a great feature for anybody who's looking for building supplies of any kind.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking for a relationship. So if those contractors out there that are hearing and seeing this don't already have a relationship with their local TSR, territory sales representatives from ICO, find the distributor that you're buying the product from. Ask them who the local rep is. Reach out. We want to know, and we want to get to know each other. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Listen, Vince, this has been incredibly informative. Thanks so much for joining me today and trying to explain to me all of this technical stuff. I think it was very interesting and gives people a great look inside ICO. So thanks again.
No, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks for watching Conversations with ICO and Friends. For more information, visit ico.com.